YouTube channel @NCERT video welcomes you. In this channel, you will see explanation and solution of NCERT books. For this, you have to visit the channel, then go to playlist and see the chapter you want to learn. Today we will be studying Social Science textbook for grade 6, Exploring Society, India and Beyond. Theme A: India and the World, Land and the People. 1. Locating places on the earth. Let's start chapter 1. Locating places on the earth. The globe of the earth stands in space, made up of water, earth, fire and air, and is spherical. It is surrounded by all creatures, terrestrial as well as aquatic. Aryabhat, about 500 CE. To understand the meaning of CE, we will be moving to chapter 4. Here you will understand the meaning of Common Era or CE, sometimes called AD, and meaning of Before Common Era or BCE, sometimes called BC. We will be reading this page and then moving on to chapter 1. In the West, the conventional year for Jesus Christ's birth has generally been taken to be the starting point of this calendar. Years are counted forward from this point and used to be marked with AD, an abbreviation for a Latin phrase that refers to the years after Jesus' birth. AD stands for Anno Domini. However, this is now called the Common Era or CE across the world. For example, 1947, the year India gained independence, can be written as 1947 AD, sometimes AD 1947 or 1947 CE. Similarly, the years before the conventional date for the birth of Jesus are counted backward and used to be marked with BC or before Christ. They are now called Before Common Era or BCE. For example, 560 BCE is an approximate year of birth of Gautam Buddha, whom we will meet in chapter 7. Can you calculate how many years ago that was? Let's explore. Such calculations are simple, but there is a catch. In the Gregorian calendar, there is no year 0. The year 1 CE follows immediately the year 1 BCE. Draw a simple timeline marking every year from 2 BCE to 2 CE. You will see that because of the absence of a year 0, only 3 years have passed between those two dates. In a number line, the difference between -2 and 2 is 4. You can see here 1, 2, 3, 4. But while calculating the gap of years, you will note that there is no year 0. This is 2 BCE, 1 BCE. There is no 0 BCE. So 1 CE, 2 CE. The gap between 2 BCE and 2 CE is 1, 2 and 3 years. So to calculate the number of years between a BCE date and a CE date, you should add them but subtract 1. In the above case, 2 plus 2 minus 1 is equal to 3. Practice a few examples with your classmates. For example, to return to the question about the Buddha, suppose we are now in the year 2024 CE. Then the Buddha was born 560 plus 2024 minus 1 is equal to 2583 years ago. Let's move back to chapter 1. The big questions. 1. What is a map and how do we use it? What are its main components? In answer, you can write, a map is a visual representation or a drawing of an area drawn on a flat surface according to a scale. It can be used to represent a small area, a village, a town, etc., a bigger area, a district or a state, or a very large area like India or even the whole world. The main components of the maps are distance, directions, and symbols. 2. What are the coordinates? How can latitude and longitude be used to mark any location on the earth? A set of values or items used to indicate the exact position of a place or an object are known as coordinates. For instance, latitude and longitude are two coordinates used to mark the location of a place on earth. Latitude measures the distance of a place north to south of the equator, ranging from 0 degree at the equator to 90 degree at the poles, and longitude measures the distance of a place east or west of the prime meridian, ranging from 0 degree to 180 degree east and 0 degree to 180 degree west. 3. How are local time and standard time related to longitude? In answer, you can write, local time is determined by the position of the sun in the sky at a particular longitude. So, places along the same longitude generally share the same local time. However, in regions that span multiple longitudes, standard time is used. Standard time is a uniform time observed across a specific region or a time zone and is typically based on local time at the region's central meridian. Imagine that you are visiting a city for the first time. How would you find the places you want to visit? You might ask a local person for help, or you might look at a map of the city. In previous grades, you learned a little about maps, and in this chapter, we will study them in more detail. Let us play a game. Examine the map of this small city. Figure 1.1. Figure 1.1. A map of an imaginary small city. You can see hospital with a red cross sign, market, Nagar Panchayat, bank, museum, school, railway station, apartment blocks, railway lines, roads, public garden, and water bodies such as ponds and streams. Imagine that you just got off a train at the railway station and you want to visit the bank marked on the map. Which way would you go? Are there other possible ways? Can you locate the public garden, the school, and the museum? If you want to proceed, from the bank to the market, which way will you go? This is where a map comes in handy. If you want to go from railway station to bank, then you can follow this path. There are other ways. You can go by passing through the hospital like this, or you can go to the bank through this way, skipping the Nagar Panchayat. If you want to proceed to the market, then you can go through this path. You can see public garden here, school here, and museum here. And at the top, you can see 4 directions, that is NEWS. N for north, E for east, W for west, and S for south. North, east, west, south. These are the 4 directions used to locate a place from a reference point. A map is like a treasure guide. It shows you where things are and how to get to them. Notice the 4 arrows in the top right corner of the map. We will soon see how they point to some specific directions and make maps even more helpful. Let's explore. On the map in figure 1.1 given on page 8, 1. Mark the hospital. You can see hospital here, having red cross sign. You can write the answer like this. The hospital is in the central portion of the figure with a red cross sign. 2. What is the meaning of the blue colored areas? Blue colored areas here signifies water bodies such as ponds, lakes, rivers, streams, etc. You can write the answer like this. The blue color areas represent water bodies. 3. Which is farther away from the railway station? The school, the Nagar Panchayat, or the public garden? From the railway station, the farthest place is public garden. You can write the answer like this, the public garden. Or you can write in a full sentence like this, the public garden is the place which is farthest from railway station. As a class activity, form groups of 3 or 4 students each. Let each group try to draw a map of your school and some of the streets or roads that lead to it and a few neighboring buildings. At the end, compare all the maps and discuss. You can try doing this with the help of your friends. A map and its components. From this simple example, we understand that a map is a representation or a drawing of some area. It may be a small area, a village, a town, etc. A bigger area, say your district or state, or a very large area like India or even the whole world. In a map, you look at the surface as if you are viewing it from the top. An atlas is a book or collection of maps. As you will discover, there are several kinds of maps. Physical maps, which mainly show some natural features such as mountains, oceans and rivers. See an example in figure 5.2 in this textbook. Let's move to chapter 5 and see figure 5.2. Figure 5.2, a physical map of the Indian subcontinent with some of its rivers. You can see a physical map of the Indian subcontinent with physical features such as rivers, mountains, plateaus and plains. Let's move to chapter 1. Political maps, which show details of countries or states, boundaries, cities, etc. For instance, a map of India with all its states, union territories and their capitals. Thematic maps with a specific kind of information. Examples include figure 6.3 and figure 8.1 in this textbook. Let's move to chapter 6 and see figure 6.3. Figure 6.3, map of some of the main settlements of the Indian Saraswati civilization. Notice the natural boundaries formed by the mountain ranges in brown color. You can see a thematic map here showing the settlements of Indus Saraswati civilization. Let's move to chapter 8 and see figure 8.1. Figure 8.1, a few examples of cereal and pulses from different regions of India. You can see a thematic map here showing examples of cereals and pulses from different regions of India. Let's move to chapter 1. In addition, there are three important components of maps: distance, direction, and symbols. You have already experienced the first two while navigating the map in figure 1.1. Let us now define them more precisely. Have you ever wondered how a huge place can fit on a small piece of paper? It is all thanks to the map's scale. Let us go back to our map of a small city, figure 1.1. Each centimeter on the map, as printed here, represents a certain distance on the ground. Let us suppose it is 500 meters. We say that the scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 500 meters. Now turn to the map of India in figure 5.2 in chapter 5 of this textbook. The scale is represented in the bottom left corner by a ruler with 500 written above its length and kilometer on the side. It simply means that this ruler, which measures 2.5 cm in the printed map, corresponds to 500 km on the ground. So, the actual distance between 2 points represented on the map depends on the scale that the map is using. Let's move to chapter 5 and see figure 5.2. Figure 5.2. You can see a scale is given here. Above the scale it is written 500 and on the side it is written kilometer. The length of this scale on the paper is 2.5 centimeter. That means 2.5 centimeter on map is equal to 500 kilometer on the ground, or 1 centimeter on map is equal to 500 upon 2.5 kilometer on the ground, or 1 centimeter on the map is equal to 200 kilometer on the ground. Let's move to chapter 1. Let's explore. Draw a simple map of a school's playground. Let us assume it is a rectangle, 40 meter in length and 30 meter in width. Draw it precisely with your ruler on a scale of 1 centimeter is equal to 10 meters. You can draw like this. You can draw a rectangle having length 4 centimeter and width 3 centimeter. Since the scale is 1 centimeter is equal to 10 meters, that means 4 centimeter length will be equal to 40 meter on the ground and 3 centimeter on paper will be equal to 30 meter on the ground. Now measure the diagonal of the rectangle. How many centimeters do you get? Using the scale, calculate the real length of the playground's diagonal in meters. You have to measure the length of diagonal, that is distance from one corner to the opposite corner. The length will be equal to 5 centimeters. You can write the answer like this. Length of the playground's diagonal on the map is equal to 5 centimeter. Actual length of the playground's diagonal on the ground is equal to 5 into 10 is equal to 50 meters. Let us return to the 4 arrows at the top right of the small city's map. They point to 4 directions which are north at the top and moving clockwise east, south and west. These are called the cardinal directions, also cardinal points. Other than these, intermediate directions are also used, such as northeast NE, southeast SE, southwest SW and northwest NW. Most maps simply have an arrow marked with the letter N, which points to the north direction. N stands for north, S for south, E for east and W for west. These are cardinal directions or cardinal points. Intermediate directions are also there, such as northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest. Let's explore. Consider the map of the small city again. Identify the correct and incorrect statements in the list below. 1. The market is north of the hospital. The market is in the south of the hospital. So this statement is incorrect. 2. The museum is southeast of the bank. The museum is south of the bank. For some people, it may be in the southeast, so the statement may be correct or incorrect depending on the way you are thinking. I am writing incorrect. 3. The railway station is northwest of the hospital. You can see railway station is northwest of the hospital here. So the statement is correct. 4. The lake is northwest of the apartment blocks. The lake is southwest of the apartment blocks, not northwest. So the statement is incorrect. Taking your school as the starting point, do you know approximately in which cardinal direction your home is located? Discuss with your teacher and your parents. You can try doing that. Symbols are another important component of maps. Our map has small drawings of actual buildings and a few other elements. But there would not be enough space on the map of a large city or a country to draw them all. Instead, a symbol is used to represent these features. Symbols for different kinds of buildings, for instance, a railway station, a school, a post office, for roads and railway lines, and for natural elements such as a river, a pond, or a forest. In that way, numerous details can be shown in the limited space available on a map. To make maps more easily understood by a variety of users, map makers use specific symbols. Different countries use different sets of symbols. The Survey of India, a government body, has fixed a set of symbols for maps of India or parts of India. A small selection of them is shown in figure 1.2 on page 12. Figure 1.2, a selection of symbols commonly used in maps. Railway lines, broad gauge, meter gauge, railway station. Roads, metalled, unmetalled. Boundary, international, state, district. River, well, tank, canal, bridge. Temple, church, mosque, chhatri. Post office, post and telegraph office, police station. Settlement, graveyard. Trees, grass. Let's explore. Draw a rough map of your locality or your village, including your home, school, and a few other important landmarks. Show the cardinal directions and use a few of the symbols shown in figure 1.2 on page 12 to mark some important features. Mapping the Earth. Mapping the Earth is a little more difficult because our planet is not a flat surface. It nearly has the shape of a sphere. We say nearly because it is not a perfect sphere, but is slightly flattened at the poles. However, in practice, we will consider it to be spherical. Representing a sphere accurately on a flat sheet of paper is not possible. To understand why, peel an orange in such a way that you have just 3 or 4 large pieces of the skin. Then try and flatten them on a table. You will see that you cannot do it without tearing them at the edges. Now consider a globe, which is a sphere on which a map is drawn. This may be a map of the Earth, the Moon, the planet Mars, the stars and the constellations in the sky, etc. The physical object, like the one shown in the drawing on the next page, is a sphere that is generally made of metal, plastic or cardboard. You can see a globe here representing Earth, generally made of metal, plastic or cardboard. Here we will study the globe representing the Earth's geography. Because the globe and the Earth have the same spherical shape, a globe will better represent the geography of the Earth than a flat map. Let us now explore some of its features. A. Understanding coordinates. Imagine a big market in a city or town with neat rows of shops, all the same size. You want to meet a friend at a stationery shop inside the market, but your friend does not know where the shop is. So you would give directions like meet me at 6 p.m. at the 7th shop in the 5th row from the entrance. This will allow your friend to precisely determine your location. Now consider a chessboard. To record moves by advanced players, letters are placed alongside the main pieces from A to H, see the image, and numbers from 1 to 8 in between the two sides. This simple system allows players to mark each square and record every move. Here, the white side has just opened the game by moving the queen's pawn 2 squares forward, a very common opening. So, the pawn is said to have moved from d2 to d4, from d2 to d4. Let's explore. Using the same terms, write down your move if you play back and respond with the same move. For example, if you move this pawn from this position to this position, your move is said as you moved the pawn from d7 to d5. The system used in these two examples may be called a system of coordinates. Thanks to their two coordinates, the stationary shop as well as the chess square on the chessboard can be precisely determined. A simple system of coordinates is used in the world of maps to determine the location of any place on a map. Let us see how this system works. B. Latitudes. Let us return to the globe. It is easy to identify the North Pole and the South Pole on it. Rotate the globe. While it rotates, the fixed points at the top and bottom are the two poles. Halfway between them is the equator. Note the circle marking it. See figure 1.3. Figure 1.3. This globe shows both parallels of latitude and meridians of longitudes. You can see North Pole here, and opposite to it will be the South Pole. Between North Pole and South Pole, you can see equator. Dividing the earth horizontally, equator is said 0° latitude. Suppose this sphere represents the earth, then this is the North Pole and this is the South Pole. And the largest circle that is dividing the earth into two equal parts horizontally is called equator. From the center of earth, it makes 0°, so called 0° latitude. Similarly, there are circles that are parallel to equator in the northern as well as in the southern side. The parallel of latitude in the northern side is measured in degrees. Suppose this makes 30°, then this latitude is said as 30° north and stands for north. Similarly, the latitude in the southern side of equator makes 30°, then it is called 30° south. Similarly, there are parallels of latitudes such as 60 degree north. North pole is 90 degree north, as it makes 90 degree at center. Similarly, 60 degrees south, and south pole is called 90 degree south, as it makes 90 degree at the center. Imagine that you stand on the equator and travel towards one of the poles. Your distance from the equator increases. Latitude measures this distance from the equator. At any point of this travel, you can draw an imaginary line that runs east and west, parallel to the equator. Such a line is called a parallel of latitude, and it draws a circle around the earth. Again, it is easy to note on the globe that the largest circle is the equator, while the circles marked by the parallels of latitude grow smaller as we move northward or southward. Figure 1.3. Latitudes are expressed in degrees. By convention, the equator is latitude 0, 0 degree, while the latitudes of the two poles are 90 degree north and 90 degree south respectively. This is noted 90 degree N and 90 degree S. There is a connection between latitude and climate. Around the equator, the climate is generally hot. It is also called torrid. As you travel away from the equator towards one of the two poles, in other words, as your latitude increases, the climate becomes more moderate or temperate. And closer to the north or south pole, the climate grows colder or frigid. You will learn in science why this is so, and also why we experience different seasons in the course of a year. See longitudes. Imagine now that you travel from the North Pole to the South Pole by the shortest possible line. Observe the globe. You will see that instead of passing through Europe and Africa, you could just as well pass through Asia. The distance would be the same. These lines are called meridians of longitudes. Figure 1.3. They are all half circles running from one pole to the other. You can see half circles connecting North Pole to South Pole vertically. You can see prime meridian here, also known as Greenwich meridian or 0 degree longitude. The meridians of longitudes located in the west of prime meridian are numbered as 30 degree east longitude, 60 degree east longitude, 90 degree east longitude, and so on. Similarly, those who are in the west, such as 30 degree west longitude, 60 degree west longitude, and so on. All are semicircles connecting North Pole to the South Pole. You will also learn in science that the earth spins on its axis. To put it simply, let's place a desk lamp a little away from our globe. Focus on it and imagine that this is the sun illuminating the earth. Slowly rotating the globe eastward, we can note that for some places on the earth it is morning, while for others it is midday, evening or night. When it is breakfast time in one country, it is lunch time in another, and in a third country, people are fast as asleep. That is why, by measuring the longitude of a place, we will also be measuring the time at that place. Let us see how. To measure longitudes, we need to define a reference point called the prime meridian. Figure 1.3 on page 15. It is also called Greenwich Meridian because in the year 1884, some nations decided that the meridian passing through Greenwich, an area of London in England, would become the international standard for the prime meridian. It is marked as 0 degree longitude. Just as latitude is measure of the distance from the equator, if you travel toward one of the poles, longitude is a measure of the distance from the prime meridian if you travel along the equator. Longitude too is measured in degrees. Westward or eastward, it increases in values from 0 degree to 180 degree with the letter W or E added. For instance, using round figures, New York's longitude is 74 degree west, while Delhi's is 77 degree east and Tokyo's is 140 degree east. Don't miss out. As you can see on the globe of meridians of longitudes 180 degree west and 180 degree east are the same longitude. So this longitude is noted 180 degree, omitting the letter W or E. The meridian that is opposite to the prime meridian is called 180 degree only. The letter W or E is omitted because 180 degree east and 180 degree west is the same. Latitude and longitude together are the two coordinates of a place. With them, you are now able to locate any place on earth. You can now understand a statement such as Delhi lies 29 degree north latitude and 77 degree east longitude. These values are rounded off, not exact. Figure 1.3 on page 15 shows the parallels of latitude and the meridians of longitude together on the globe as blue lines. You can see meridians of longitudes and parallels of latitudes are shown using blue lines, forming a grid. All these lines together constitute a grid for the globe. They are also called grid lines. Let's explore. If the globe or atlas in your class has well marked latitudes and longitudes, try to note down approximate values for the latitude and longitude of 1 Mumbai, 2 Kolkata, 3 Singapore, 4 Paris. You can write the answer like this. Places, latitude, longitude. Mumbai 19.07 degree north, 72.87 degree east. Kolkata 22.57 degree north, 88.37 degree east. Singapore 1.35 degree north, 103.81 degree east. Paris 48.85 degree north, 2.35 degree east. Figure 1.4. This sketch shows how the prime meridian divides the earth into the western and eastern hemisphere, while the equator divides it into the northern and southern hemispheres. You can see Greenwich meridian or prime meridian here, dividing the earth into western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere. Similarly, the equator divides the earth into northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Don't miss out. The Greenwich meridian is not the first prime meridian. There were others in the past. In fact, many centuries before Europe, India had a prime meridian of its own. Figure 1.5. Figure 1.5. The Ujjaini prime meridian used in ancient Indian astronomy. cities marked with a circle are mentioned in astronomical texts as being on this meridian. The modern name is given after the oblique bar. 75.8 degree east longitude is known as Ujjaini meridian. This symbol shows ancient city and this modern city. Ancient city Kurukshetra, Rohitak, modern name Rohtak, Malwangara, modern name Nagar, Ujjaini, modern name Ujjain, Mahesmati, modern name Maheswar, Kumari, modern name Kanyakumari. These cities are located near the Ujjaini meridian. Modern cities Delhi, Mumbai, Kolkata, Bengaluru, Chennai. It was called Madhya Rekha or Middle Line and passed through the city of Ujjaini, today Ujjain, which was a reputed center for astronomy over many centuries. Varha Mihir, a famous astronomer, lived and worked there some 1500 years ago. Indian astronomers were aware of concepts of latitude and longitude, including the need for a zero or prime meridian. The Ujjaini meridian became a reference for calculations in all Indian astronomical texts. The map shows a few ancient Indian cities close to the Ujjaini meridian. Some are very close to it, while others are a little away. That is because measuring longitude required accurate timekeeping, which was not as precise as it is today. Figure 1.6. This map, published by the Survey of India, shows the country's outline along with a few parallels of latitude and meridians of longitude. India's latitude extends approximately from 8 degree north to 37 degree north and longitude approximately from 68 degree to 97 degree east. The two colors have been added. India's latitudinal extent is from 8 degree north to 37 degree north and longitudinal extent is from 68 degree east to 97 degree east. Understanding time zones. Let's make the globe rotate once again from west to east. That is how our planet spins around its axis, making a full turn every 24 hours. A full turn is 360 degree, as this means 15 degree per hour, as 15 into 24 is equal to 360. In 24 hours, that is in one day, Earth rotates 360 degree. Then in 1 hour, it will rotate 360 degree upon 24. That is 15 degree. That means in 60 minutes, Earth rotates 15 degree. Let us now mark the meridians of longitude every 15 degree. Moving eastward from the prime meridian, we get 0 degree, 15 degree east, 30 degree east, 45 degree east and so on every 15 degree up to 180 degree east. It is the same as adding 1 hour of local time with each meridian. If it is 12 pm or noon at Greenwich, it is 1 pm local time at 15 degree east, 2 pm at 30 degree east and so on. But going westward, it is the other way round. 11 am local time at 15 degree west, 10 am at 30 degree west, etc. Figure 1.7. This graph shows longitudes at the bottom and local time at the top with reference to the prime meridian at 0 degree. Each color is a zone of 15 degree centered on a meridian. You can see 0 degree, 15 degree east, 30 degree east, 45 degree east, 15 degree west, 30 degree west, 45 degree west longitude. And local time within the span of 15 degree from this longitude with different colors. 12 pm, 1 pm, 2 pm, 3 pm, 11 am, 10 am, 9 am. Let's explore. Two friends, one sitting in Porbandar, Gujarat, and the other in Tinsukia, Assam, are speaking on the phone late afternoon. The latter remarks that the sun has set in Assam and it is now dark. The former is surprised and says, "But it is still full daylight here." Explain why. And as a class activity, calculate the difference in local time between those two cities. Hint: for now, consider the difference in local time between Porbandar and Tinsukia to be 30 degree. Later, you can find out the precise value. You can write the answers like this. The sun sets earlier in Assam than in Porbandar because of the difference in local time between the two places situated at different longitudes. Since the earth rotates from west to east, places located farther east experience sunrise and sunset earlier than those in the west. Degrees completed by the earth in one full rotation, that is in 24 hours, is equal to 360 degree. Degrees completed by the earth in 1 hour is equal to 360 degree upon 24 is equal to 15 degree. Time taken by the earth to rotate 15 degree is equal to 60 minutes or 1 hour. Time taken by the earth to rotate 1 degree is equal to 60 upon 15 is equal to 4 minutes. Longitudinal difference between Porbandar and Tinsukia is equal to 30 degree. Therefore, the difference in local time between the two places is equal to 30 into 4 is equal to 120 minutes is equal to 2 hours. There is another way of thinking. In 1 hour, earth rotates 15 degree, then in 2 hours, earth will rotate 30 degree. The answer will be 2 hours. The same method can be used to calculate the local time of any place on the earth, but it would not be convenient for a country to use many local times. That is why most countries adopt a standard time based on a meridian passing through them. Indian Standard Time (IST) is 5 hours 30 minutes, also noted 5.5 hours ahead of the local time at Greenwich, called Greenwich Mean Time or GMT. That means the meridian of longitude chosen for standard time is 5.5 into 15 degree or 82.5 degree east. Let's explore. Return to the two friends sitting in Gujarat and Assam. Use this example to explain the difference between local time and standard time. You can write the answer like this. Since Gujarat lies 30 degree west of Assam, two friends sitting in Gujarat and Assam would notice a time difference of about 2 hours if they looked at the sun to tell the time. This is due to the difference in local time between places located on different longitudes. However, if they checked their watches, they would see the same time. That is because India uses a standard time based on the 82.5 degree east meridian. which passes near Mirzapur in Uttar Pradesh. This is called Indian Standard Time (IST) and is used across the entire country to avoid confusion caused by different local times. All these standard times are organized in time zones which broadly follow the zones of 15 degree in the graph, figure 1.7. But let us consider the world map below, figure 1.8. Figure 1.8, a world map of the time zones showing the standard times with respect to GMT for a few countries. Note that international borders are approximate, not exact. You can see countries like USA, Russia, Canada has more than one time zone. Time zones tend to align themselves along national and international boundaries to avoid confusion created by difference in local times. You can see 0 degree longitude or prime meridian here. The countries located in the east of Greenwich meridian has positive numbers written on them. That means to find their standard times, you have to add these numbers to Greenwich Mean Time. Similarly, the countries located in the west of Prime Meridian or Greenwich Meridian have negative numbers written on them. That means to find their standard time, you have to subtract these numbers from Greenwich Mean Time. You can see a zigzag line here known as International Date Line. It is opposite to the prime meridian or Greenwich meridian, aligning itself approximately with 180 degree longitude. This is called international date line because when you cross it by any means such as a ship or a plane, you have to change your date in your watch. We can see that the lines dividing the time zones are not fully straight. This is because they have to respect each country's standard time and therefore tend to follow international borders. The numbers written inside some countries are the numbers of hours to be added to GMT to get their standard times if they have positive sign or subtracted from GMT if they have a negative sign. Don't miss out. From the above explanation, it may seem as if every country has one standard time. That is not always the case. Some countries like Russia, Canada or the USA are too large to have a single time zone. The USA has 6 time zones and Russia has 11, which means that traveling across Russia from east to west, you will need to readjust your watch 10 times to align with the local time. Similarly, the globe in figure 1.9 centered on India shows standard times with respect to GMT for a few countries. Figure 1.9, a few time zones with respect to GMT in Africa and Eurasia. Finally, while the prime meridian was fixed at Greenwich, the opposite line at approximately 180 degree longitude is called the international date line. As you can see on the map, the plus 12 and the minus 12 time zones touch each other at this line. If you cross it by ship or plane, you need to change the date in your watch. If you cross it traveling eastward, you subtract a day, say from Monday to Sunday. If you cross it traveling westward, you add a day from Sunday to Monday. We said that the international date line is approximately at 180-degree longitude, as it deviates in places to avoid dividing some countries into two different days. Before we move on, maps are a very useful tool to represent an area of the earth, whether small or large. The main components of maps are distance, direction, and symbols. Every place on the earth has a location which can be precisely determined with the help of a grid of latitudes and longitudes. That is, imaginary lines running from east to west parallel to the equator and north to south from pole to pole respectively. Longitude also marks the time and defines the time zones. The international date line is located approximately at 180 degrees longitude, opposite the prime meridian. Crossing the international date line changes the date by 1 day. Questions, activities and projects. 1. Returning to page 10 and to figure 5.2 in chapter 5 of this textbook, taking the scale to be 2.5 cm is equal to 500 km, calculate the real distance from the estuary of the Narmada river to the estuary of the Ganga river. Hint: round off your measurement on the map to an easy number. Estuary: the place where river meets the sea. Let's move to figure 5.2 in chapter 5. You can see figure 5.2. You can see river Ganga and its estuary here, and river Narmada and its estuary here. The distance between the two estuaries is approximately 10 cm on map. The scale here is 2.5 cm is equal to 500 km, or 1 cm is equal to 500 upon 2.5 kilometers, or 200 kilometers. That means 1 centimeter on map corresponds to 200 kilometer on the ground. That means 10 centimeters on map will be equal to 2000 kilometers on the ground. You can write the answer like this. Distance between the estuary of the Narmada river to the estuary of the Ganga river represented on the map is equal to 10 cm. Actual distance between the places on the ground is equal to measured distance in centimeter upon scale in centimeter into real distance in kilometer is equal to 10 upon 2.5 into 500 is equal to 4 into 500 is equal to 2000 kilometers. Let's move to chapter 1. Two. Why it is 5:30 p.m. in India when it is 12 p.m. or noon in London? You can write the answer like this. India, located at 82.5 degree east longitude, lies to the east of the prime meridian in Greenwich, London. Indian Standard Time (IST) is based on this longitude and is 5 hours 30 minutes ahead of the Greenwich Mean Time or GMT. Therefore, when it is 12 p.m. in London, it is 5:30 p.m. in India. 3. Why do we need symbols and colors in the map? You can write the answer like this. Symbols and colors help represent features like buildings, roads, bridges, forests, railway lines and water bodies effectively on map. They convey a lot of information in a limited space, making the map easier to draw and simpler to read. 4. Find out what you have in the 8 directions from your home or school. You can try doing that. For your help, the answer can be written like this. Directions from my home: north, residential houses; northwest, school; northeast, tube well; east, college; west, tube well; southwest, banquet resort; southeast, agricultural lands; south, power station. 5. What is the difference between local time and standard time? Discuss it in groups, with each group writing an answer in 100 to 150 words. Compare the answers. You can write answers like this. Local time refers to the time of a place based on the position of the sun in the sky at a particular longitude. When the sun is at its highest point at the prime meridian in Greenwich, all places along this meridian experience midday. As the earth rotates from west to east, places lying east of Greenwich are ahead of Greenwich Mean Time or GMT, while those to the west are behind it. For a country spanning multiple longitudes, it is quite inconvenient to use many local times. To overcome this, the local time of a central meridian is taken as the standard time for the whole country. In India, the longitude 82.5 degree east is taken as the standard meridian, and the local time at this meridian is observed as the Indian Standard Time or IST across the entire nation. 6. Delhi's and Bengaluru's latitudes are 29 degree north and 13 degree north. Their longitudes are almost the same, 77 degree east. How much will be the difference in local time between the two cities? You can write the answer like this. Longitudes help us determine the local time of a place, and places laying on different meridians have different local times. Since Delhi and Bengaluru are located on nearly the same longitude, they will have the same local time. Seven. Mark the following statements as true or false. Explain your answers with a sentence or two. All parallels of latitude have the same length. This statement is false. Explanation: the equator is the longest line of latitude, and the length of latitudes decreases as we move away from the equator toward the poles. The length of a meridian of longitude is half of that of the equator. If you are considering Earth as a sphere, then this statement will be correct or true. Explanation: the equator is the longest horizontal circle around the Earth, while meridians are vertical half circles that connect the north and south pole. This makes the half the length of the equator. The south pole has a latitude of 90 degrees south. This statement is true. Explanation: the south pole lies at 90 degrees south of the equator. In Assam, the local time and the IST are identical. This statement is false. Explanation: IST remains the same throughout the country, while the local time in Assam depends on the longitude passing through it. Lines separating the time zones are identical with the meridians of longitude. This statement is false. Explanation: the lines dividing time zones are often adjusted for political reasons and do not follow straight meridians of longitude. The equator is also a parallel of latitude. This statement is true. Explanation. The equator is the longest parallel of latitude located at 0 degree and it divides the earth into the northern and southern hemisphere. 8. Solve the crossword below. Locating places on earth. Directions for across and down is given here. 1. Lets you squeeze a huge area into your map. Scale. 4. A convenient sphere. Globe. 5. The longest parallel of latitude. Equator. 6. The place the prime meridian is attached to. Greenwich. 8. So convenient to find your way. Map. 10. A measure of the distance from the equator. Latitude. 2. A measure of the distance from the prime meridian. Longitude. 3. These two together allow us to locate a place. Coordinates. 6. What latitudes and longitudes together create. Grid. 7. The time we all follow in India. IST. 9. On top of the world. Pole. 11. An abbreviation for a line across which the day and date change. Ideal. For more videos, you can like and subscribe @NCERT video. Thank you.